Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we've got 10 games on Friday night here to end the work week in the NBA for you guys. In this one, we're taking a look at a pretty fun matchup, I would say. Denver and the number 2 seed in the West, Memphis Grizzlies in Denver, looking for some revenge for the Nuggets. There they are. Go ahead and make sure to like and subscribe to this page. We've also got another game video up for you tonight and our player props that we're bringing you each and every weekday this season. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out all the great content we have up there about the NBA and more as we're moving along here, getting towards the tail end of this season. Also have our odds finder tool up there for you guys. Make sure you're getting the best odds available to you. We've got a really nice chart that displays it right there for you guys. Make sure you can find the best juice coming back on your bets this season. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into this 10-game slate and then talk about our game, Nuggets and Grizz.
Yeah, and we are recording this on Thursday night due to a little work conflict, so 2 lines not up yet with the Clippers and Warriors playing. We got Magic -3 at Hornets, Nets +11 at Celtics. We got Blazers +7 at the Hawks. Thunder are +2 at home without SGA against the Jazz. The Suns -6 at Bulls. That's the other game we break down. Total's only 222. Knicks have gone from +1 to -2 at the Heat. Pelicans will be at the Warriors, waiting on the line there. Clippers at the Kings, also waiting on that line. And then the Wolves are -2 at the Lakers. AD should be back after missing a game there. Grizz +6 or +5.5 at Denver. And yeah, like you said, it is a quick revenge spot for Denver after getting handled in Memphis. Memphis's road record is so stark right now that I almost feel like it's just a trap to assume it's going to continue. But unlike how I usually preach, which is saying like, oh, okay, you need to tease this one. I'm not sure if Denver can cover 6. If they win, they're going to win handily. Like, Memphis is a total front-running team. They just beat up on the LeBron-less Lakers. And then they tend to fall back. And if it's not going their way early, they do give up. They're 0-9 straight up as road dogs, and the margin of victory is -15.5 points per game. Look, they have won 4 of their last 5 against Denver when Ja is active, but it's not like that's just about Ja. I mean, we saw last season how they were just a much more well-rounded, deep team that they kept winning without him. He's only a +7 over those 5 matchups, and he's -19 in the 2 matchups at Denver. And really the big thing here is the home road splits for both teams. I mean, they're just huge across the board. Denver's the best offense in the league when they're at home. Also one of the best defenses. Number 2 opponents 3-point shooting. Number 10 in transition D, which is key here. In their last 3 overall, they're allowing the second fewest free throws. And then Memphis, where do they struggle? I mean, they struggle with assisted field goals everywhere. They're dead last in that department on the road. Also, 5th worst 3-point defense, 8th worst in terms of free throw attempts allowed. So, The Joker, I think, is going to have a very nice game here with no Steven Adams. We've been trying to pick on Memphis for a while in terms of them just not being as good on either end without Adams. I think maybe, surprisingly, it's their offense that dips more than their defense without him. And maybe that is reason to be bold with an under here. But Denver's pretty much clockwork getting 120 at home. So you're almost then assuming Memphis is going to get shut down. And the recent meetings between these teams, and Memphis's tendency to just get blown out or do the blowing out, makes you just think, yeah, let's take Denver -5.5, 6, whatever it is, and just hope that kind of flip-flops nature continues. The one thing that gives me pause is the way you built this up, as this is the number 2 seed against the number 1 seed. The season's almost over. I don't know if Memphis can actually catch up. Aaron Gordon's questionable. If he does not play, I would actually be quite nervous because they need his defense against this particular team. But assuming everybody's a go, I think Denver does handle business.
Yeah. I'm choking back laughter as you were talking about whether or not Memphis blows someone out or gets blown. out. But yeah, either way, I think the last thing you said too about the standings there, if Memphis is 5.5 back right now in those standings, and if they're down, and they continue to have that sort of well, let's just give up, and why would we continue to come back and fight and claw kind of mentality, then it would only be exacerbated by the fact that they'd probably be really disappointed that they knew that this was a game they had to win to have a shot at really, the 2 points that it's a 2-point swing either way, so that they know they got to win it in terms of in the standings, right? In terms of 2 games back either way. But I think part of it is because the way that they have to play to win and to beat you takes so much energy. They have so many energy points. There's no assisted field goals, to the point that you made a minute ago, which is a huge problem. The only type of assisted field goal they ever find is Ja slashing through the lane and then kicking out to guys standing around the 3-point line, a la the Dallas Mavericks offense, which, as we know, works really great sometimes when you have a guy like Ja or Luka that can get into the paint. Also just doesn't work all of the time because the variance is too high. And if guys just decide to play off the guy who's driving and get out on the shooters, then they're going to be fine. Like we said, Denver really good at defending the 3. Memphis not really good at defending or at shooting the 3 at all, as they haven't been forever, basically since the Tony Allen days of those grit and grind Grizzlies. They still haven't had 3-point shooting ever since then. And Desmond Bane, as important as he is not really a playmaker. Which too often makes him a spot up shooter, and is another reason that it sort of neutralizes his ability when he's not getting into the lane himself. So, and that's been the case for him for a bit, struggling over the last 3-4 weeks or so. But I think that the key for this game is Denver at home, and just bet on them and bet on the fact that they're going to build a lead. And if they do, like we said, then Memphis gives up. I'm very excited to tell you the stat that I was looking at, because I just kept typing in, what are Denver's stats at home with Jokic over the last 10 games? It was like, oh shit, they're 10-0 and they score 128 points a game in that time frame. I was like, oh, let's keep going. 15 games, they're 15-0. What about 20 games? They're 20-0. I had to get to 21 games before they had lost. Really, they're 22 games. They're 21-0 in their last home games with Joker. All of those this season, where it's just insane. And actually, in their last 30, dating back to last season, they're 28-2 in those 30 games at home when Nikola Jokic plays. And it's all the things that they're best at in all those games and in that time frame is what Joker does. Number 1 in assists. They have the highest field goal percentage, unshockingly. 13 3-pointers made on a really high percentage at 40, 99.5 pace, basically the same pace. So everything is just Joker being in control of the ball, being a maestro there on the strings of everything that's happening. And so I think that's going to continue to be the case without Steven Adams. Interestingly, I just want to throw this out there because I also think it's hyper relevant that the Nuggets are at home here, because when they have won 3 of 4 at home, what you said about Ja is true. When Ja's played in the last 5 games that he's played in, they've won 4 of them. 3 of those were at home. For the Grizz, right? And so that's a huge part of it. He just happened to miss a couple road games against the Nuggets. So that's the correlation that I make there. And then the other thing about this being at home is just that's where Joker has played well against the Grizzlies. He's played horribly actually against them on the road for him. A couple games with 15 points or less actually in Memphis of late. So that's where some of the numbers, and actually when Steven Adams isn't in, he's also not been that great. But once again, those numbers correlate with when they play in Memphis. Steven Adams missed a couple games in Memphis at home versus these Nuggets, and that's why Joker, once again, he had a game with 28 minutes that he played because it was like they were down by double digits in the fourth, et cetera, et cetera. So all the things that might be contrasting to my belief that the Nuggets are going to win this game by at least 5 points, I can give you really solid counter arguments for. So I'm just going to continue to believe in them tonight, or tomorrow night rather.
Yeah, I mean, what you said about Ja, again, it's really been the problem all year. It's kind of like empty calories. Like, he had 38 points in December against Denver, and they lose. And you see those kind of stat lines all the time from him, because it's just, there's not the same depth. There's not the same secondary playmaking. Like you're saying, Desmond Bane is capable. I don't want to hear you slander him and say he's not a playmaker.
No, I won't.
It's just that the offense is not really flowing through multiple sources. Yeah, it's just kind of that high energy situation for Ja. I mean, that's absolutely stunning that they've won 21 in a row with the Joker. It makes me want to just say, put that money line in with whatever else you're looking at on this 10-game slate. If you are a little bit concerned about Memphis fighting down to the wire, But if Memphis does fight down the wire, we're probably going over because, again, 128 points per game in their last 10 at home are the Nuggets. So they're almost getting you over by themselves here. I mean, Steven Adams has not been stopping Joker when he's active. I mean, maybe Xavier Tillman does a better job, but it doesn't really matter who you throw at the Joker. If he's at home, he's going to be scoring. And Jamal Murray, who we don't really matter, he's fully back. Like, he hasn't played in some of these home games, but when he's out there, they're just really tough to defend. I mean, he looks almost like bubble Jamal Murray again, and that makes his team really scary.
Yeah, and he looks like Jamal Murray of the bubble, but also with like some passing skills now. Not some. I mean, he's always had them, but like he's diming up because this team is loaded, and it's the most loaded it's been since he's been around, right? Because he hasn't really had the chance to play with MPJ and Aaron Gordon and Jokic all at the same time. And now you throw Bruce Brown in there, and it's a team that I'm trying to like tell my Nuggets friends, like, you're going to be fine. They're all so freaking like, nervous energy because they're like, we're supposed to be good. And now I'm scared because we're supposed to be good. And we finally have expectations. And it's like, it's fine. Like, you got Joker's a professional. You'll be all right. I believe in this team a lot. So that's all the time we have for you, though. In this one, make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. Check out the other game video we have up for you tonight, talking about KD and those Suns, as well as our player props. And until we see you next, happy betting.